Just a second. Yeah. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I think I'm very glad. I think I loved the introduction, and in fact, I don't know if Hexabyte's planned for it, but I loved one of those ads from them which said, you wake up, you chat. In fact, that is one of the key value props that is going to be spoken through for the next 45 minutes as to how this whole thing is changing, right? And if there is one thing that is kind of constantly changing with respect to the whole business, it's the customer engagement space, right? And if it has been incrementally changing over the past few years, it has literally taken a giant leap post the pandemic. And I want you to know that everything that we do in terms of the business, you and I, everybody, we are trying just to ensure that there is that smile that we can put on our customer, right? And I want to let you know that this customer and the expectations that they have is constantly changing. And before we get to the actual crux of the webinar, let's actually take a look and introduce ourselves, reestablish who that customer is, right? And this is our customer, right? I mean, we're talking about someone who doesn't matter if it is 5 to a 50, they are super digitally savvy. And the fact that exactly nailing down on what the Exabyte ad said, we are talking about somebody who is indeed somebody who's preferring to chat over a call or an email. And in spite of all that, there is so much of dependency on smartphones. And with all of this, with businesses like you, everyone who's trying to up their game, we're talking about somebody who's spoiled for choices. There are so many businesses everywhere around, and they are trying to up their game in terms of their product, in terms of their engagement, and they're spoiled for choices. And while all this is happening, every business wants to give that little bit of extra, and the customer is now used to that one-on-one attention that they really love. It doesn't matter if today we could be meeting extremely remote, but the fact that we are answering each of these questions one-on-one and giving you a feeling that there is a one-on-one interaction here is something that each of us love as customers too. And with all of this, we all know that we want to order something, like right from food to our taxi to everything. We have very little patience, and we're talking about customers who want things, everything almost instantly, right? And I want you all to take a minute and consume this fact that this is the set of customers that we are trying to appease. This is the set of customers who we are trying to put a smile, and this is their kind of expectations, right? So with this in mind, we'll jump directly into the agenda of what we will look at during this course of time. And I mean, as Laureen said, please feel free to put your questions through in the Q&A tab. We'll constantly keep answering them, and we'll also try to accommodate a Q&A session at the end of it if you have some. And Laureen, I'll look forward to you, because I'll be looking at the screen. I'll look forward to you if there is anything specific that you want me to take care of in terms of the video or the audio. I'll look forward to your feedback to see if everything is okay.
Absolutely, no problem. Let me know if you need me, I'll be here.
Sure thing, thank you. Right, so this is the agenda, where I know that I'd love to have this webinar in person, but we all know it is not possible. And I also understand with a webinar and we're all digitally connected, it's very, very difficult to have that attention span, correct? So I'm trying to go through this very objectively, clearly articulating the whys, whats, and hows, right? So first we'll start out with why so much jazz and the noise about messaging, and why is that? Why should an organization like Exabyte maybe start off with wake up and chat? Why is there so much buzz about messaging, right? Okay, right. So this is one big myth buster that I loved. I mean, I don't want to give you loads of data here, but this one myth is very, very classic, right? I think all of us believe as businesses, we are offering phenomenal engagement to customers, but the customers don't seem to concur with it, right? And they really don't believe. And And this is a customer whose expectations are constantly evolving. And the reason you see this gap is because our misunderstanding about what the customer wants, right, which is evolving. And as I told you, constantly going back to that modern customer, there are few things that the customer expects, and we as businesses do not deliver few things, and hence there is a huge gap. Because the customer who you were kind of ready to put a smile on a year back is very different from what it is today. And that is the belief as businesses that we have, that hey, we had an overhaul maybe year back or 2 years back on our whole customer engagement and we are good. But unfortunately, the customer has come a long way from there. And especially post pandemic, it has rattled the entire expectations of a customer. And it is going to be a lot more difficult. This number probably, if taken today, would be a lot more different as well. And why do you think messaging is the answer, right? And obviously, I mean, needless to say, so much of smartphones that are coming up, and every smartphone, like 87% of them are using messaging. In fact, this source says from Benedict Amen says it's 87%. I'm not sure what the 13% is up to. I'm sure it is some form or the other. They definitely use phones, I mean, and messaging. And many of them, I'm sure you and I are preferring to just pick up the phone and text what we want to blutter out and close it off for other person to respond rather than picking up the phone and calling. And for a lot of people, especially the millennials, email is indeed a thing of the past. And the overhaul that we will do as businesses to constantly change this customer engagement game, we know that the customer we are going to engage with is going to belong to the 60% and this percentage is going to grow, right? And when you look at it, I mean, is it very specific to a certain segment or the certain stage of when the purchase or anything is happening? It is not. Like, doesn't matter if it is before the purchase, doesn't matter it is during the purchase or it is post the purchase. Every customer is starting to show a trend that this is becoming more of a messaging game for the businesses, right? They want the businesses to engage with them over a message, right? They do not want the calls, they do not want the emails, and this is an overwhelming response from people. And to maybe go a little deep down into understanding the behavioral, if you think, hey, is it something that like maybe a very Gen Z thing or a Gen millennials thing? Not, right? You see that even the boomers, that is the 55 plus category, there are like 50% more who are choosing it for like appointments or like even buy tickets or any, like, you know, so much so that today with so much of advancement in every form, especially the digital payment taking so much of booming, there is factors that many of our folks are finishing the entire bill payment over messaging and all of that, right? So this is reinstating the fact that the modern customer is so much message driven, right? And what is interesting is that if you think it is just the question of these small mid-market folks or the SMB folks who are just making this change, it is not, right? Because the Fortune 500 organizations, which constantly look at the way that the customers are engaging, which constantly up their game. And these are organizations that are maybe 50 years old, 100 years old. And these organizations have already started their transitions to messaging. So on one side, you see that there are customers who prefer messaging than anything else. And on the other side, you're realizing that the big guns are already making this change. And that is your cue to say that, hey, if I'm not already into this, this is definitely the time. Otherwise, we will definitely not survive, in fact, right? And why is WhatsApp so big? Because yes, there is messaging and there are different ways to consume messaging. Maybe should you just put a chat widget on the website? Maybe you ask your customer to engage with you on the mobile app that they want and things like that. Yes, I mean, I'm not saying no to that, but let's face it that if you have an app that over 1.5 billion people use across the world, and we're talking about phenomenal engagement and people just pick up and spend hours together on it, why don't we leverage that thing is the key question here. And as if this reach was not enough, what this pandemic has done is that there is a 40% surge in the overall WhatsApp usage. And my colleagues and friends at the partnership team with WhatsApp are like zapped by the kind of engagement, the number of messages, the new installations that WhatsApp is finding. So there is phenomenal traction to all of this, right? So if customers are there on WhatsApp, right? What do you think? To me, I think the single most important success mantra is be where your customers are. I'm going and referring back to that modern customer. They want it instantly. They want it at their doorstep. They want it at their fingertip. If the customers are there on WhatsApp, rather than pulling them on to a website, rather than pulling them on to an app, rather than pulling them on elsewhere, why not offer the service on the same app that they are using to interact with their friends and family, so that your business becomes part of their concentric circle, right? And that is an important piece, right? So what is Apple Business Chat API, right? We're talking about very straightforward stuff. Like, there are two key use cases that we're talking about. One is about the customer picks up the phone, and instead of calling the business or instead of emailing the business, they just send you a text, then send you a message saying that, hey, I want this help. And the other option, that use case that is becoming more and more prevalent, is the notification option, where after you get an acceptance from a customer that you can reach out to them, the businesses start reaching out to the customer saying, hey, here is your change in your booking details. Here is your order details that is coming through. And hey, this is what is coming up this way. And this beautiful, two very straightforward use case is becoming more and more prevalent here. And I want you to focus on one very, very important point. Today, in many places across the world, SMS has become more like a spam folder, right? Because we get information, we get messages from people and businesses that we do not know of. Where WhatsApp is very, very specific there. Before you reach out to a customer, you take their acceptance that this business can reach out to them, which means the sanctity of this app, of the belief that the customer has towards this app, is still intact. It doesn't become a spam folder very soon, right? So that is a very, very crucial thing. And just going double down in terms of the customer care piece, right? I think you're trying to get more of a one-on-one confirmation with them, and obviously with a lot of rich text information, media that you can send. And there's so many use cases across different verticals that has come in phenomenally well, where imagine a situation, the person just wants to send a PDF, like, quickly selects and sends it. And they're able to do this so easily because they do this every single day. It's not a new learning curve for them. And same way, the previous one is more for the customer engagement, but the phenomenal traction that WhatsApp has been getting, especially post-pandemic, is in the sales conversions, right? And how, imagine the most important thing for a customer in terms of sale is out of sight is out of mind, right? And what WhatsApp does, and what sales through WhatsApp does, is that it puts the whole perspective right on top of the site, and which means that it's constantly there. The chances of converting a prospect to a customer is a lot more higher if you engage with them over WhatsApp rather than, say, email or call and things like that. And notifications, as I told you, which is the message that we send as businesses to customers. Now, this is very powerful, right? Because imagine, obviously we have not traveled for a long time, but imagine a situation where there is a change in the booking, where we are traveling somewhere, and imagine that there is an issue with the hotel and that we are going to go, and there is some change to it, or there is any update that you would want to send a customer. The chances of them taking a look at it is much, much higher compared to maybe the chances of them not picking a call are there. The chances of them definitely not checking email quickly is there. But WhatsApp is something that people almost, it's become more fidgety for people than anything else. Like, even if you don't get notifications, even if you don't do anything, how many of you have actually picked up the phone, just clicked on WhatsApp and just looked at who's messaged. And we all know there is nobody sometimes, right? So the chances of the businesses reaching out to customer is a lot better in terms of WhatsApp. And so typically, if you look at it, like the kind of results that we see is more in terms of there is phenomenal reach, and the chances of somebody looking at it and responding to it is a lot higher. And most importantly, with we've seen multiple cases of emails or SMSs that are being sent. There is very poor delivery rates and open rates, which is like a huge leap when it comes to WhatsApp. And most importantly, where I think many of the times the one-on-one conversation, which I was saying about the modern customer, which I was speaking, they love this one-on-one interaction. And the chances of having that conversation is a lot higher on a WhatsApp when compared to email or anything else. And this is not just, all we've been seeing is about saying, hey, it can do that, it can do this, right? What I'm going to show you now is very interesting, where I'm going to show you organizations, the some of them who are organizations that are well respected across the world, who have embraced WhatsApp, who've been using it for over a year now, and the kind of value addition that they've seen. So hold on, this typically is something that many folks have said that they love seeing this slide, because look at the cases of like Vodafone, Tokopedia, Stashaway. This is across multiple verticals, right? And the green color bold ones numbers that you see are typically the KPIs of some of you, right? I mean, as a customer success or a customer support manager, you would want to have a very less agent time, so that there is better value on these time spent by the agent. And of course, an agent handling time is another one. And in your organization, there are KPIs of, hey, how can you ensure that we are still reaching out to customers? For a lot of customer success teams, the two-way communication and the chances of the opposite person just ensuring that there is two-way communication is one of their key KPIs, right? And here it is where we've seen organizations who've seen such phenomenal value addition because of WhatsApp, right? And we are talking about reliable communication with customers and in ensuring that happy and effective agents. Now, these two go super hand in hand. A happy and an effective agent will result in greater communication with the customer, and it's important for a customer to feel that they are in the hands of a happy agent, right? And this is not it. I'm going to show you 4 more organizations that have used and they've seen phenomenal traction. And we're talking about as big as, I mean, companies like Renault are not someone who you would associate with. They have been there in the business for so long, and the chances of them becoming more digital is lesser, but they took the plunge and they realized that they've seen like 163% increase in the total direct communication, right? And for every customer and for every business, customer retention is the most important thing. And Klook has recorded that they've seen phenomenal traction in very short period of time in retaining more customers. And if you are an organization that has multi-product, like it could be in terms of any e-commerce, or you can be in travel, it can be on anything, but cross-selling, if you're a multi-product organization, your ability to cross-sell becomes a lot more because the customer is right on their fingertips and you can interact with them saying, hey, you know what, this is coming up, would you be interested, and things like that. And end of the day, all this is going to result in, like, this is more like a chain, right? Imagine you're able to communicate well, hence it would mean that you're able to retain them well, which means you have better chances of cross-sell. And because you do that, there is constantly greater dollars that you can make out of this, right? So here are almost like proof points to say, if you start, and this is not, and all this while we've been talking about, hey, I mean, WhatsApp can do this, can do that, and all of that. And here is the proof in the pudding, right? Here are organizations, small, big, across verticals, ones that are old timers, and some of them who are digital first. All these have started using WhatsApp and they have seen all these tractions, and the numbers that you see and the KPIs that you see are the numbers and KPIs that you care for, that I care for. So these are things that typically can improve and has also improved for a lot of these organizations. They've seen phenomenal CSAT scores and NPS scores. right? So who's making this shift? Like when you look at it, who are these businesses that are making the shift? Now, I'm constantly on calls with prospects across, especially all the organizations, to see who's making that shift, right? I'm very curious and I'm very excited always to know about this. And surprisingly, it is about, in this pandemic, I know organizations that does not have any digital presence as of January 2020, which directly moved to WhatsApp. Their first move digital was moving to WhatsApp, right? And we have call center folks during this pandemic where they were not able to have enough support and they were not able to have people working in their call centers. They ended up doing this there. And ticketing and email, right? Which is, again, something that people were doing this before the pandemic. Many times there were situations where the customers were not ready to wait, and ticketing and email became such an overhead that they just moved on, right? And during this, interestingly, there were multiple businesses. I mean, just as what Lauren in her initial uh, discussion said, while this pandemic ended up in shutting down a lot of businesses, it also resulted in a lot of businesses starting up. And many of these businesses, I know conversations that we've had with them, they start on WhatsApp, right? And if you're already on another messenger, or like say you're already on Facebook Messenger, is something that you're already engaging with your customers. Now expanding to WhatsApp becomes a very natural phenomenon, right? And obviously, needless to say, any organization which is starting digitally first, definitely start off with WhatsApp. So all these examples that I'm giving you, like the last 3 slides, are super crucial in my mind, because we're telling you, yes, messaging is important. We're telling you, yes, the modern customer is expecting. We're telling you, yes, the modern customer is there on WhatsApp and you'll have to be there where the customers are. And we are also telling you, here are organizations which are respected across the world, which has seen value in WhatsApp. And here is a trend of what kind of customers are moving to WhatsApp, right? So typically when you are a business who are thinking of, hey, I'm not convinced about, yes, I'll go with WhatsApp, but how will my customers know that I'm available on WhatsApp? That is a usual question, right? I mean, yes, I want to invest on WhatsApp, but does it mean that I'll have to find out the extremely innovative ways for customers to reach out to me? How will I publicize the fact that I'm available on WhatsApp? Now, that's where it becomes very exciting. The whole ecosystem of Facebook owning Instagram and WhatsApp, they've beautifully married all of this. And this has resulted in where, imagine you're an organization that is pretty active on Facebook or Instagram. There are ways that you can just tap, your customers can just tap on it and directly start conversation on WhatsApp, right? And other organizations have used other creative methods, like in their product packaging, they've done in their ads that they do, in their websites, very prominently that they have put up saying that they are on WhatsApp. And typically many of these organizations in their email signatures, so much so that even there are like the Google paid text ads. There are cases where you can click and directly start a WhatsApp conversation. So the options that you have to let your customers know that you are ready to take the plunge and you can be reached through WhatsApp is pretty big. And Freshworks can obviously help you and guide you on what will be the right entry point for your organization, right? Now, here we are. I'm assuming at least most of you would be relatively convinced that, hey, yes, messaging is what the modern customer wants, and WhatsApp is definitely something that we should pursue, because there is proof that there are businesses that has actually worked on it and it has seen great value, and looks like it is going to be a lot more easier for us to go and promote the fact that here is how you can reach. Now, how does Freshworks come into picture? How does Freshworks with WhatsApp works? Now, there are 2 ways here, right? One is, of course, I'm hoping some of you will be aware that we have 2 key products where WhatsApp can work with. One is our help desk product, which is called Freshdesk, and our messaging product, which is called Freshchat. Now, if you look at Freshdesk, it is like slightly, it's not the most ideal, but I also understand that sometimes it becomes a case of, I'm not yet ready for chat. I have a ticketing system with you, and I want to ensure that the WhatsApp kind of combines well with the help desk. That is still possible, right? Imagine the message that is sent by the customer comes in as a ticket, and you can start having conversations, which goes back as a message to the customer. While this is still something that many customers are already using, but it's not very swift. I mean, if you're not having great first response time, this can slightly fall back. But if you're wanting to take a plunge, but still not ready to go ahead with messaging as yet, a messaging product, then I think you should totally try out Freshdesk with WhatsApp. But what's all the more exciting, which is like more the perfect combination, is a messaging product with a messaging product, right? And here's what it happens. If some of you are not familiar with the layout, the layout that you see on the right is the inbox of Fresh Chat. And this will house all the communications, right? Imagine you have your web widget that you put up on your website, you have a mobile app, and you're also supporting customers through WhatsApp. All of this is going to fall inside this inbox, right? And all of this is going to come in, and it's going to be a very straightforward. I'm sure most of you would have seen the WhatsApp web view. And what you see on the right, the Fresh Chat inbox, is very, very similar to a WhatsApp web. So it means that your agents are like straight up, they are aware of what it is, and almost like the learning curve is zero. And doesn't matter where your customer is coming from, your agent will have a very clean perspective of just responding to these customers, and it will land in the customer's WhatsApp. And obviously, there's another piece that I spoke to you about, the proactive messaging, right? And with respect to proactive messaging, which is like notifications about customers, where you get the opt-in from the customer and you start sending them information that is relevant to them. Now, I can tell you that I've had phenomenal experience with some of these businesses where at the right point of time, they give me information that is very relevant. Now, WhatsApp also has a restriction where you will have to respond within a 24-hour time, so that it doesn't become spammy for the customer, right? And now this 24-hour window can also be taken care of with your proactive messaging, where you're missing out on this and you say, hey, we missed out on this, but do you still need this help from us? And we are happy to help with you. So these are things where you go little above and beyond to make the customer happy, right? Right. And now comes the big question to all of us, right? Hey, looks like WhatsApp is something that is really perfect for my business, and I really want to get started. But in this pandemic, I do not have the ability to scale my agents, my team, because with WhatsApp, there could be a lot of people asking a lot of questions. How do I handle it? And that's when the whole bot piece comes into the being, right? I'm just going to touch upon this a little bit, because my friend Shubam is going to talk pretty elaborately on this. And but here is again, I did not want to just give you an example of saying, hey, this works really well. Now, here is BN Sports, which is one of the largest media organization in the Middle East, and they started off with bots and WhatsApp. And here is what you have to say. I mean, if any of you are interested, I'll just wait for like a couple of seconds. You can scan this QR code and say hi, and you will have an interaction with the BN Sports, where you can choose a language, and you can do payments, and you can renew things, and a lot of things can happen there. And it's a beautiful bot experience there. And I'll tell you what BN Sports had to say, right? 2019, they were completely on emails and calls, right? Today, their entire customer engagement is on WhatsApp, right? And this just sums it up, right? And they've said there's enough said, right? Why? Because it just means that if you're making a complete switch to something, it just means that it is adding value in every corner of it. Like if it is great customer experience, if it is helping you business in terms of reducing OPEX, if it is helping your business in terms of making your agents happy, if it is giving a great value on return on investment for all the things that you've done, everything has to be a check if you're doing 100% switchover. This is what BN Sports has done today. They have completely switched from emails and calls to WhatsApp, right? And I think when Shubham speaks about bots, you will understand how powerful the whole bot ecosystem is with Freshworks, that you can very intuitively answer many questions from the customers and still not bother about acutely scaling your system, right? So this is what generally gets the whole business is excited, right? I mean, we are talking about with Freshworks and WhatsApp, we are talking about that one-on-one conversation, the proactive outbound conversations. And there is a beautiful feature in WhatsApp where today, if you have an IVR system where you have so many calls and you realize that there's so much of investment, and typically the time, imagine if you're using an agent for talking to one person, on an average, that same person in the same time that they have, they can actually take 7 to 8 chats. They can cater almost like 7 to 8 customers and make them feel very important, and they don't have to wait for long times on IVR. So what it also does is that if you have an IVR system in place, you can also add a very intelligent option of saying, press 1 for this and 2 for that, press 3 for continuing this conversation over WhatsApp. Now what happens is, if you press that, after the customer can hang up, and you can send a notification to the customer, hey, looks like you're interested in having a conversation over WhatsApp, and you can start conversations there, right? And obviously WhatsApp is super encrypted, and it's like an end-to-end encryption, so it is super secure. And of course, with all the best-in-class bot abilities that you have, there is nothing but exceptional customer service that you can offer with WhatsApp and the Freshworks ecosystem, right? So this is the piece. Now, going back to the modern customer we spoke about, it's not just about putting a smile on their face. It's about getting them delighted. It's about delighting your modern customer. And I think if the expectations of the modern customer is about wanting to message, if the expectations of the modern customer is to have that one-on-one conversation, and if the expectation of the customer is to have instant gratification, the whole ecosystem with WhatsApp and Freshworks can solve all of it, while putting a smile on the face of this modern customer. It also ensures that the return on investment for your organization in terms of CSAT, in terms of OpEx, everything also gets ticked, and the proof point from other organizations would also be saying a lot of truth out there. So that's pretty much it. And if you have any specific questions, you can obviously put it up and we'll take the Q&A session right away. This is the, we'll also send you this URL. And if you think that as an organization, you want to get started with the whole WhatsApp piece right away, because they say what you want to do. There's a beautiful quote from, there is an epic called Bhagavad Gita in the Indian mythology, and they say that what you want to do tomorrow, do it today, and what you want to do today, start it now. And it's written maybe thousands of years ago, and we still don't seem to do it well, at least I. So, but I think if you're wanting to make that move, I think you should definitely try it out today. And there is a team of folks who are here in the organization who are more than happy to help you. And I know that Exabytes has been a phenomenal partner with us. And I'm sure that they have all the information that they need on the WhatsApp side of things. They can help you. And we have an extended team with Exabytes there. And there is a team at Freshworks who's specifically working on how do you make customers successful with the Freshworks WhatsApp ecosystem. So we have all the help that you need. And thank you so much for joining me today. And it's an absolute delight for me to speak to you today. Thank you.
Absolutely super. All right, you guys, for those of you tuning in right now, let's give Balaji here the biggest round of virtual applause you can. Just leave it in the chat box, just type in clap. A job well done. We have some questions here, and I'm actually going to be asking you a few that has already been answered by your partner here, because I felt that these questions are really good and quite relatable to where we are geographically. So this question was from Weng Li. The question is, WhatsApp messaging is still considered less formal, especially in countries in Asia. Is there a way to create more authenticity of the WhatsApp business account?
Of course, yes. See, I think what you can do is you can make your WhatsApp page verified. I mean, your WhatsApp account verified. which means there is obviously a phenomenal authenticity that comes to it. And the organizations that I showed you, the ones that saw great value, all of them are verified accounts, which means that when this message goes to the customer, they believe it is indeed coming right from the business, and it makes it all the more formal, if that answers the question.
It certainly does. So this next one is, hello, thanks for the session. Is there any limit to the total messages or recipients that we can broadcast in WhatsApp notifications? In personal WhatsApp, there's a limit to the total recipients that we can send to.
So I think how WhatsApp has done this, and I think personally, I believe that I've been involved in this whole relationship with WhatsApp for over 1.5 years, 2 years now. And I think the pain and the point that they've taken to make this extremely non-spammy has been exceptional, because they wanted to ensure that one main thing, they were fine that, hey, I'm okay if businesses don't use this, but I do not want the end customer to feel WhatsApp has become spammy, right? So what they've done is, yes, to your question, you can send a lot of messages in the notifications. There are a lot of messages that you can send, but there's a but to it. You'll have to gradually increase. So what they've done is constantly they check how many people block you when you send a message. And if there is a lot of people who block you, they restrict you from sending a lot of messages. And if your constant engagement, when you send a proactive message, like 95% of them don't respond to it or something like that, and that just happens over time, they will realize that your messages are spammy or they are just being very unidirectional. That's not what WhatsApp is meant for. They want the interaction to happen. So that is the whole point of it. So if you are sending quality messages and if your customers are engaging with that, there is absolutely no restriction on the engagement that you can make.
All right, that's very helpful to know. This one is from an anonymous attendee. The question is, how do we get verified by WhatsApp?
If you have a verified account, if you have a verified Facebook page, there are a bunch of processes that are involved into that. Again, it's a very straightforward thing. And if you want to reach out right after this meeting, we can definitely help you get to that.
All right, super cool. You guys, for those of you tuning in, if you have more questions, just go ahead and leave it in the chat box right now. We have a lot of time and we absolutely love answering your questions. Let's move on to the next one here. The next question is, can I integrate WhatsApp Business with my existing tools? And why should I use Freshworks or FreshChat?
Right. I would love to see what is your current tool, because it's important to know who you're locking horns with, right? I'd love to understand that, if that can be answered. But I think the reason a lot of people choose Freshworks ecosystem, in fact, WhatsApp kind of tells us that we are probably one of the fastest to have, in terms of our customer base, is one of the fastest to embrace WhatsApp, right? So, I mean, it's to do predominantly with a couple of things. I think we have very, very short turnaround times in terms of getting, imagine if you're interested on WhatsApp today, how quickly you can get on your feet with WhatsApp. That is super quick with Freshworks, because we have a very strong relationship with WhatsApp. 2 is, if you have any issues or things like that, we have great relationship with WhatsApp and we can hash it out faster. 3 is that the whole ecosystem is very, very well built for WhatsApp. Like, say, for example, the bot, how it works with WhatsApp is extremely seamless. So I think I'm not specifically doing a selling here to come in for a FreshChat, because that's not right. But my only request to you is, if you're looking for value prop, like our multilingual support, I see one of the questions that is coming in, which talks about using of Arab and things like that. So BN Sports today, the bot example that I gave you today, that is in Arabic. So the multilingual support that we have is also phenomenal. So there are multiple points to it, but I'm happy to have a conversation with the one who's asking this question to see if Freshworks has a good value prop against the competitor that they are looking for. And if I win, they come into Freshworks, and if I lose, I'll at least get to know why the other competitor is better. So there is something for me to learn.
Okay, now you mentioned something about languages. So let's just go ahead and address that question. This one is from Dr. Haji. Dr. Haji's question is, what are the languages you can use in your system? Malay, Tamil, Arab?
Yeah, there are a suite of languages that we can use today, Dr. Haji. And I know for a fact that Arab is definitely possible. Tamil, I'm not sure. Malay, Malay and Tamil, I might have to get back. We've not had many requests. Maybe Shubham, if you know today that if we support Malay and Arab.
We do support it in the pods, but
Yeah,
I'm not
okay.
very sure of WhatsApp, like how it will appear and if any translation will be done on formatting will be done on WhatsApp.
Yeah,
But in bots,
okay.
we support.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Shubham. So I think Shubham is our next speaker. So I just got him in without the right introduction. So Lauren, please do the honors when it has to be. And I think in terms of, there is also a very intelligent feature called Live Translate with Fresh Chat, right? Imagine between Shubham and I, and if I'm an agent and Shubham is a person who speaks in, like, say, Malay, and I'm an agent who can only speak English, we have a feature where Shubham can continue to speak in Malay, type in Malay, and we have a live translate which will, in the live scenario, translate it into English for me. And I, as an agent, can reply in English and it will translate to Shubham in Malay. So that is, of course, possible.
All right, good to know. Let's have this next one. So the question is, what are the technical and non-technical roadblocks Freshworks faced while implementing it for some of the customers? Just curious to know. It's really great to know what WhatsApp could be used for B2B.
Oh, that's a session in itself. But yeah, I mean, technical roadblocks. I mean, see, I think it might, I don't know how relevant it might sound, but I think it's very specific to the organization, right? I think the non-technical roadblocks could mean that maybe the how your Facebook manager ID is coming up with, and you have issues with your Facebook manager ID. And there are certain policies with WhatsApp on certain, like, say, they don't allow certain verticals, like maybe a gambling site or a few restrictions that they have. They were having initially some restrictions on the whole hospital segment, but they've lifted some of it after the pandemic and things like that. So it can range from the policies of WhatsApp to, in terms of the technical aspect of it, we've not had an issue because it's pretty straightforward. I think we've built this really well, keeping a lot of things in mind. And I think we've been having the whole WhatsApp integration for over a year and a half now. So we've ironed out most of the, I'm not saying we started perfect, but I think the 1.5 years we've made it a little better.
All right, thank you. So this next question comes from Rebecca. Rebecca's question is, how do we utilize the WhatsApp Business API and optimize its use for businesses?
Sorry, I didn't catch that question, Laurie.
Right. So once more, how do you utilize WhatsApp Business API and optimize its use for businesses?
Okay. I'm not sure. It says fairly generic. I'm assuming I touched upon certain points during the session, but if your question is more in terms of optimizing for business, it is everything that I've been saying in terms of how do you ensure that maybe take up the WhatsApp Business API and put in your conversation and your proactive message bit into it. And I think the whole ecosystem of Freshworks, I'm going to repeat myself if I probably say that, but maybe I'll be helpful if the question is a little more specific, because I might have to go through the entire session again then. Sorry.
All right, that's absolutely fair. Rebecca, if you're still tuning in right now, just go ahead and maybe elaborate a little bit more on your question. We do have about, give and take 10 minutes. So guys, once again, if you have questions, just leave them in the Q&A box. We're gonna answer as many as we can. And yes, going back to Rebecca, please just elaborate a little bit more for us and we'll get back to you. Let's move on to this next one from Weng Li. Now, Weng Li's question is, can I use WhatsApp for lead generation as well? And what are the limitations in that case?
Yeah, it's a great question, right? So, of course, we can use it for lead generation, and that's the sales use case that I was talking about. And there have been a lot of, there's been a lot of organizations which has been using for lead gen, and it depends on how you are using it, right? If you're using the notification as your ammunition for creating lead gen, it could turn out to be negative, because WhatsApp does keep a very strong watch in terms of there is constant audits to understand if you're misusing the whole ecosystem to send out sales blasts, right? But if you're using to engage with customers, so going forward, I think there's going to be buttons that are going to come into WhatsApp. There's going to be carousels that are going to be coming into WhatsApp. And there are multiple easier ways that you can actually do lead gen with good conversations, right? I think in terms of lead gen, the key is to have the constant engagement with the customer at the right intent. So I think that is something that many organizations have done fairly well. And maybe if post this session, if you would probably want to either shoot an email, or we'll be happy to have a one-on-one with you to understand how you're looking at to with WhatsApp, how do you plan to do the lead gen, and we'll be happy to give you suggestions on how other organizations have done it as well.
Okay, thanks. Thank you for that question, Weng Lee. Our next one is from Zong Yong Lim. So the question is, can Freshworks and WhatsApp integrate with WordPress or accounting softwares like SQL?
We've never had that question come in. Okay, I'll take that back to a product team because we've not had that question as of now. I'll take a note of that and I'll get back to you. Can I ask for, to the Hexabyte folks, can you just pass on the email address of who's that person who asked the question?
Yeah, this one's from Yong Lim. So Yong Lim, maybe if you could just drop your email address in the chat box right now, our Hexabyte team will take note of that and we'll get back to you once Balaji has gotten an answer from the team. So
sure.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
Yong Lim says thank you. So we don't have any more questions for now. So you guys, we have, like I said, another one just came in. So this one is, who provides me support and assistance? Is it Freshworks or the WhatsApp team?
It'll be Hexabyte's team and Freshworks team together. And if there is a need that there is something that you want to get it from WhatsApp, we can of course make that happen. But yeah, right. I think I'm very sure that because we know that Hexabytes will have a lot more focus on the customer because they are extremely serious about how the kind of experience that they give to the customers. And as I told you, there is a team that is at Freshworks, which is trying to cater this experience across the globe. And together, I think we'll be able to help you get on your feet.
All right, you guys. If you're interested in
I'm just going to request Bala, can you please post this URL in the chat so that people can just quickly send this across and take a look at it? I know it's a long URL. It's optimized for SEO. Yeah, sure. So again, I guess Balakrishnan, who's from Freshworks, who's in the conversation now, who's been answering some of those questions, is somebody who's dedicated for the whole non-English speaking markets and to the channel partners. So he works closely with Hexabytes to offer this experience to the customers. So Balakrishnan will be somebody who can help you directly in getting onboarded with the whole WhatsApp piece.
Yes, the URL just came in. It's not that long though, but big shout out to Bala. Thank you so much for answering the questions off screen. I know you're doing a fantastic job about that. Thank you so much. And you guys, if you're interested in any of the products that Freshworks has, they have an amazing suite of products. Just go ahead and check out their website. And if you'd like to know more about what they have, you can always write us an email or you can contact Freshworks directly. But of course, if you have more questions, importantly, pertaining to this topic that we had right now, our first session for today, just go ahead and leave that in the Q&A box right now. We're going to give you guys perhaps about another 3 to 4 minutes to do so. In the meantime, how's your week been so far? That's my question to you.
Sorry?
How's your week been so far?
Hey, I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you well. I'm sorry, Lonnie.
It's okay. I asked, like, how's your week going so far?
The week has been good.
Yes.
It's, I mean, I don't know if there's it's very relevant though, but we have our, it's a very cricket crazy nation here. And we had one of our largest cricketing final happen yesterday. So I think the kind of the spirits are kind of lifted. But I believe that sport play a huge role in lifting spirits during these times. So I think it made the whole people happy, and it had one of my favorite teams win. So I'm happy. I'm a happy man.
That's good to know. I think at this point, with 2020 being the year that it is, we can just bank in on the small wins. Whatever that comes, we're just gonna take it.
Absolutely.
We definitely need that.
Oh, absolutely.
So what's the situation like there in India right now?
No, I think to me, I think India has done phenomenally well because for a population density and so many population out here, and somebody who's not prepared for something like this, none of us were, in none of the countries were, but the variables and the dimensions are a lot more difficult when it comes to India with such population and the kind of population density that we have. especially in some of the cities, it's so packed. It's almost impossible to contain this. I believe that the whole healthcare workers, the doctors have done phenomenally well to bring India to such a situation. I think the awareness is also great. And I'm personally very thrilled that a country like this has reacted to such a pandemic in the way it has, which is not prepared for it and any of that. I'm actually thrilled and very proud of how the country has reacted to it.
That's actually very nice. It's always nice to see improvements, wherever you are. Things here in Malaysia have taken a bit of a damp turn. I would say we're back under CMCO, so it's kind of like a partial lockdown. It's conditional. So things are not exactly great here, and we're not feeling too, happy about it. But I guess we'll be fine.
We all will.
Not sure. Yeah, not sure about Singapore though. So you guys, how's Singapore doing? Let us know. But right now, I think we're gonna have to wrap things up because we have a little bit more time, which I'm going to talk to the audience just for a couple of minutes before I introduce our next speaker. But Balaji, thank you so much for joining us here today and for your presentation. I thought it was phenomenal. You guys, let's give him another round of applause and say thank you in the chat box once again. I'll see you soon. Stay safe, stay strong, and enjoy the rest of the day. Have a good lunch.
Thank you so much, Noreen. Thank you. And I think you took this whole thing, and I'm glad that you started this off on a very, very positive, happy note. Thank you so much for that. And thank you for helping us through the QA. And welcome in, Shubam.
All right. Thanks again. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay, you guys, before I invite our next speaker in, how is everyone doing? Let me know in the chat box right now. Are you doing fine? Are you, still with us right now? What's the weather like on your end? I'd really like to know. Now, once again, if you're here and if you would like to talk to us, tell us about, give us a bit of feedback on how this event is doing you. If it's doing you good, we'd like to know. Leave us some feedback in the chat box right now. And of course, if you have any questions for our speaker, leave that in the Q&A box. Just click on it. The Q&A box will pop up, type in your question, type in your name, and hit send. And of course, for those of you who are asking whether you can get the video recording from today's session, the answer is yes, we will be uploading this video to our YouTube channel as well as our Exabytes Facebook page. So do check back, and of course, if you'd like, do share this stream on your social media handles, your Facebook, Instagram, your Twitter, with anybody who you think will benefit from this today. And finally, before I invite our next speaker, he's already on screen, I'm just trying to wrap this up as soon as I can. We also have another Freshworks webinar that's going to be taking place on the 19th of November, 2020. Same time, same place. So for more information, just head on over to our Exabytes Facebook page or do sign up for our newsletter to stay updated. Now, for session 2 for today, for our Freshworks webinar, we're going to be talking about the good, the bot, and the customer experience. I love that title, by the way. So we are going to be talking about the aspects about the major customer and business trends and what this means to businesses, and specifically for the support team. Now, we will be talking about the steps in businesses that are taking to address these trends and how they're faring with it. The speaker will then talk about AI-enabled bots and how it will benefit organizations in Malaysia to do business with ease. And as you can see, our speaker's already on screen right now. Please welcome Shubam Goyal, the product manager of Freddy for CX for Freshworks. Hi, Shubam.
Hi, Lauren. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you all.
Hello. All right, you guys say hello to Shubam here. Just drop in a big old hello. You can wave. It's really up to you. It's always nice to have some attendee engagement here. All right, so how are you doing, Shubam?
I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fine. So have you had your lunch?
Not yet. I just finished my breakfast.
Oh, okay. But it's kind of noon already where you are, right?
Yeah, it's 12:30. So we usually do a late breakfast and late lunch.
Okay, that's good to know. I've learned something new. So I hope you've been keeping well on your end, especially with, the whole pandemic going on. What are things like for you?
Things are good here. I'm here in state in India, Punjab. Things are under control now. It went bad quite some time back, but it's better now.
All right, that's absolutely good to know. So I see you have your screen set up, and I believe you're ready to go. So Shubam, whenever you're ready, take it away. The screen is yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Once again, I'll be talking about all bots today and how you can improve the customer experience with the help of bots and automation and AI. And not even the customer experience, will also touch base upon how we can improve the whole customer journey with which you can give a good customer experience by taking the agent productivity to a next level as well, right? Where the bot can also help the agents to improve the productivity. So we'll just talk about these things, market trend, what is and why the shift in CX or customer experience, and why Freddy AI, why Freshworks, right? And what is our strategy in there? And we'll also do a quick overview of all the features, and then we'll move to Q&A, right? Moving to market trends, right? So here are the most significant customer trends that we are seeing today. We'll dig into these deeper one by one, right? Um, First of all, we'll talk about digital native customers, right? Like, so this is on rise today, and what is the reason for that, right? And what we are seeing. So today we are seeing that the most of the customers that we have, like they are on age between 20 to 45 years old, right? And they have grown up with internet as part of their daily lives. Who are very comfortable with adopting modern technology, and what their expectations are they want immediate response, and they are mobile friendly, they're text friendly, right? So that is where the quicker responses become important, and everything has to be handy, right? Because they understand the technology well. uh, the second is consumerization of tech is what we are seeing, where the companies are also familiar with these patterns, and the employees that we have in these companies, right, they want their work to be same as of what's their life outside the work. What does that mean is that the life outside the work is modern. They expect the same to be in the work as well, right? There are such automations happening outside the work. For example, if they want to book a cab, it just click away, right? And they don't have to uh, enter their pickup location and drop location over and over again, right? Which means that the mundane and repetitive work they don't want to do. And why they would want to do the same when they are on work, right? So they want to do away with mundane or uh, repetitive work. So that's what they will be looking in their organization or workplace as well, right? And 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 that is the reason, and that's good as well for the organization, that they are open to adopting the new technologies, right, which will in turn increase their productivity, right? So that's how the shift is happening for the agents as well, not only the customers, right? uh, yeah, and very hot or obvious thing is scaling, right? The expectation as a business is that, hey, I want to scale from x to 10x, right? I want to increase my support, but I don't want to increase my cost. And that is the reason that support is not no longer seen as a cost center, right? Hey, if I'm growing x to 10x, do I need to shell out 10x money in that case, right? uh, Even if I have to, right? That is my prime customer area, that is my prime retention. Nowadays support is not only to support the customer, but it also becomes medium to upsell and cross sell, right? And also like if you talk about scaling the systems, usually what happens is that the legacy systems are there, right? And we need some modern technology to connect to these legacy systems, right? Sometimes let's say if we are in banking and all, we can't replace the legacy systems, but we can power them with the new technology, right? So that's where a scalable solution comes into the picture, right? And we have seen this also, right? The companies like Uber, Airbnb, and all other companies, right, have grown from x to 10x in just a few years, right? Which was not the case earlier. Earlier it used to take decades to do such a growth, right? So this all is possible with the uh, technology that we adopt, right? uh, Now we know that this is all we need to do. But what are the opposing forces here, right? Customers want, they expect a shorter wait time, right? They want the responses to be quicker as we speak, but at the same time it has to be personal, right? If I'm coming, I'm saying that, hey, I need help with this, there has to be someone who respond to me quickly, but also say that, hey Shubham, how are you doing today, right? It has to be personal, right? Second thing is, customer want good treatment, like they want everything on fingertips, on hands, right? But at the same time it has to be proper information, right? It has to be a self-service where they can access the information quickly, as precise as they want, right? uh, other thing that is required by the businesses, which is very natural, is to give the best customer experience, right? But as you spoke, yet optimize for the cost, right? uh, if I want to deliver a great customer experience, do I need to shell out more money, or can I optimize the cost and still deliver a good user experience, right? uh, then there is that, hey, if you're talking about bots automation, right? What if I want to have a human touch point there? What if I want to transfer it to agent, right? When let's say, if someone is not happy with the response which is given, if someone is like frustrated, right? What will happen in those cases? So there has to be balance between uh, bot and agent working together, right? So there has to be a fallback where the conversation, or where um, the ticket or anything will be transferred to the agent whenever required. So these are few of the things that businesses, based on our experience, want to see, and these are the things that sometimes contradict that, hey, if I want this, then what will happen to this? If I take this, then what will happen to this? um, so so that's what we will talk about, that how do we balance between these things, right? And that's where we say that, hey, customers today expect the effortless experience, and the agents need help in delivering these experience, right? It's not only the customers who need this, it's also the agents who need help in delivering this experience. Agents also need someone to sit beside them, to guide them wherever they are stuck, right? And that's what has prompted two major shifts that we as organizations saw, and we are bringing in. One is the conversational self-service. Now it has become a norm, right? Where 60% of the customers prefer self-service over all the channels, right? uh, when I say all the channels, it could be WhatsApp, it could be as Balaji spoke, right? WhatsApp is on high demand, and is on high adoption now, right? It could be Facebook Messenger, it could be a chat widget, it could be in your app, right? Uh, so it has to be handy, and customers prefer self service over these, right? They want that, hey, if I go to this channel, I should not wait for someone to come. I should be able to quickly browse through the things and get my response. That's what customers are expecting. And over 50% of the customers don't wait for the agents more than 2 minutes, right? They just either drop off, get frustrated with the experience, and just go away and don't talk, and or maybe don't even come to your product anymore, right? So that is the nature of the customers today, right? And like we spoke, right? Customers use messaging apps, right? The same apps, web, it could be web messenger, it could be mobile app on the messenger, or it could be WhatsApp, right? These messaging apps, so your support channel has to be there, uh, like the the same experience that we give on the website, on the help section on the widget, it has to be there on the other messaging businesses as well. That's where the generation today is, right? Most of the generation is on WhatsApp today, right? So that is one. And second is, so new tool, or improved tool for the agents, right? uh, and as you see it, right, it's no more an option, it has become a norm here, right? That agent also need assistance, right? Agents um, agents feel started feeling that more than half of the work that they are doing is mundane, right, is repetitive. Either it's copy pasting from a document, or it's copy pasting from a solution article, or it's just looking at the previous interaction and responding to the customers, which can be avoided, or which can be assisted with, right? And they at the same time they feel that the companies are not doing enough to prevent their burnout, because they're not happy doing the same thing over and over again, right? And when the volumes like we have seen in the COVID times, few of our customers, their volume grew from 1x to 8x, 7x, 10x, and even 15 to 20x, right? The burden will come directly on the agents, and they're not happy about it, right? They also need someone to help on that, which leads to naturally the loss in productivity. And one major thing that we are seeing today is that we all are working on from most of us working from remote locations, right? uh, which is reducing the productivity. So this is the reason that we need these two shifts in in agent's life cycle and in customer's life cycle, right? And this is not we are speaking. Lot of companies and lot of newsletters are speaking about it, as we can see that how AI powered solutions are coming, and how call centers are taking help from AI solutions to increase their productivity and increase the customer satisfaction, right? So everywhere this is being spoken about, right? I would like to quickly do a pulse check. I'll request Lauren to uh, just quickly do a poll on have you tried AI before? Have you tried bots before?
All right, you guys. So we've got a poll on screen right now. If you'd be such a dear to just answer the questions that you see, that'd be super. Shubham, you're doing a great job so far. Is everything all right? Your end? I hear a little bit of a banging noise in the background.
Is there noise in my background?
Yeah, I think it's from your background. There's a consistent knocking noise. Is that from you?
I don't think so. Maybe I can try putting on my earphones. That helps.
Oh, okay. If it's not, then it's okay. We'll just bear with it. It's fine. No worries at all.
Sure. Sorry for that.
It's okay. So okay, once again, you guys, if you answered the poll, thank you so much. And go ahead, continue, Shubham.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Responses are great, and it's obviously a no-brainer that companies are looking for AI solutions, and companies have and some of you have already tried it, and let's see we have seen that people are or the companies are reluctant to adopt the mods. What's the reason for that, right? um, Most of the solutions that are out there in the market are very hard to set up and implement, and even once the implementation is done, it's hard to maintain over the time, and it requires a developer to maintain it, and which becomes hard for the companies to spend so much, right? And most of solutions lack ML and AI capabilities. For example, intent detection. If customer is coming and saying that, hey, I want to uh, reschedule my order, right? Or if I want to cancel my order, so the bot is not able to detect what customer is actually wanting to say, right? And other problem that we have seen is with other solution is that the the bot or the offering is not native to the core product that you are using. It requires a lot of integration efforts, which needs either again one of your developers to do, or you need some system integrators to help with that, right? and and lastly, and the most important thing is that these doesn't work with all the channels. It might just work with one channel, maybe just on your chat widget, or maybe some other channel, or just a ticketing form. So these are the problems that we have seen today, and this is where the Freddy AI comes into the picture, right? Where we have solved these problems. Let's see how we have solved this. So what we offer is a integrated experience. It's not a piecemeal offering. um, right, the bot solution that you get, or the AI solution you get, right, is integrated with the product, the suite you take, and which reduce the cost and complexity, right? Complexity to integrate with other system, right? And this is very important point here. Right? This is built for all the companies. When I say all the companies, it is not only built for mid markets, enterprises. It is built for SMBs equally, right? Which essentially means is that the ML AI models that are there come out of box. You don't need a developer. You don't need a scientist, ML scientist, to build and deploy the bot, right? There are inbuilt training modules. Even a non-tech guy can train the bot, can look at the performance of the bot, can retrain the bot, right? Using the intuitive UI that we have, right? Then scalability we have spoken about, right? Uh, why it is important again. If you start small and if you want to grow big, right, you don't need to worry about, hey, do I need to put again so much of efforts to grow? Do I need to look at the scalability of my vendor? Do I need to look at the three systems that I've integrated? Can they all scale together, right? This is one integrated solution, and it will scale as you scale, right? So scalability is not a problem here, and we have seen our customers, like here you can see the example, right? Super Daily is an Indian grocery delivery service, have handled 2.5x increase in the support volume due to COVID, right? And without adding any agent, when I say any agent, without even adding one single agent to the team, they handle this volume, right? We'll talk about Super Daily more in detail. How what was their deflection rate before, what was the deflection rate after the COVID, uh, right? So that's what so how we are so these points we spoke about, right? And what's our approach here, how we are solving this. Two things we are doing again. um, One is AI powered codeless bot builder platform. When we say codeless, again, we don't need a devs to do it. Even a product manager, even a business development guy, or your customer success managers or your support leaders can set this up for your customers, where when you set this up, this chatbot will be your first line of defense, right? So we'll talk about the user journey here. If you see, the customer will come into your ecosystem. It could be any of the channels. It could be email, web chat, messenger, or WhatsApp. Bot will try to understand what customer is saying, or bot will take user through the path which we should take, right? And help the customer solving the query, right? If the bot is not able to help, or if customer is not satisfied with that, right, then is where the the second piece will come into the picture, that AI features which will help agents in the assistance, right? So second thing what will happen is, it will take you to the agents, it will take the query to the agent, right? Now where this agent assist or agent capabilities will come, it will help agents get trained and onboard faster, right? It will help in automatically creating the ticket in your ecosystem, or transferring chat to the agents with the right fields which are required, All right. And I'm talking about point number 5 here, which is triaging the tickets. So when we say triaging, right, it automatically classifies, it automatically understand that where this particular conversation or ticket should go. It should be assigned to a particular agent, it should be assigned to a particular group. And not only this, what is the priority of this, and what should be the status of this. So these things are automatically identified and assigned by the bot, which reduce a lot of efforts for the agent as well, right? And then further it will suggest some responses to the agent, that hey, these are some of the responses that you can give. And at the same time, it will also show you that hey, these are some of the things which a bot has already suggested, right? You might not want to frustrate the customer by giving the same response again, right? And then the process execution. Let's say if there is something which is required by the by the agent to do. For example, if as a customer I am coming in, I want to cancel, let's say, my order or my subscription, right? What as the agent I would do is I will open a third tab, I'll go there, I'll enter the order ID of the customer, I'll fill the information, and then I cancel the order, right? So this whole process, or this whole process can be automated, right? What a bot or what AI will do is it will automatically detect that what is the order ID of the customer, and then agent just need to say that hey, just cancel, go ahead and cancel order for this customer. So the background job that agent had to do on a third tab, this AI will help in doing, right? And this doesn't end here. After this journey, as a manager, as an admin, or as a representative, right, you can see how the bot or how the AI is performing using the insights. You can further improve the bot, you can further retrain the bot, and you can let's say if there are drop-offs, if you see that hey, customers are not interacting with bot much and dropping off in between, or if there are some things that need to fix, you can by looking at the analytics, you can fix those things, right? Yeah, that was about it, and we'll quickly do I'll play a video, and we'll see all these features like in action. It's just a 2.5 minutes video. I'll just play the video. Yeah, thank you so much for watching the video. Again, we'd like to ask if you would like a personalized demo of Freddy features, Freddy bot builder, and AI features. I would request Lauren to quickly do a poll.
All right, there you go. I'll poll them right now, you guys. So go ahead and click yes or no if you'd like a personalized demo of Freddy AI. All right, super cool. Let's give you guys a couple more seconds to answer that poll. Okie dokie. Also, while I'm here, you guys, once again, if you have any questions for Shubam later regarding our Freddy AI, just go ahead and do them in the QA box right now, and we'll answer them in just a bit. Thank you. All right, so we got our results.
Oh, that's
31% of you guys said yes, and 29% of you guys said no. Why not, you guys? All right, Shubam, back to you.
Thank you. All right. Right. So, guys, I would go towards summing what we spoke, and also will cover few use cases. Right. So that's why I kept this at last, is because now we spoke about how the bots can help customers and how the bots can help agents, right? And what we as a company want to do and want to say is that we don't want to replace agents. We don't want to replace humans with the bots, right? But we want humans and AI, or humans and Freddy, to work together to deliver the best customer experience, right? Where we give the personalization, constant learning, scalability, and all this with AI and human working together, right? And what you get for the customers here, you get effortless experience, and hence the personalized support. Increase the productivity of your agent, which increase the time and boost morale of the agents. Agent will no more be frustrated doing the same thing over and over again. And you scale with saving your cost, and you get the customers for life. Your customers will uh, not be frustrated and will not leave you. You will have great retention and great acquisition of the customers, right? uh, let's see what few of our partners have to say or have seen. PhonePe is a financial company, a fintech company in India, which handles over 300 or 380 million transactions per month, right? uh, we have seen they have seen 80% deflection in the bots, with the bots, right? What does it mean is, if they receive 1 million tickets or 1 million conversations per month, 1 million is an indicative number, it's a lot more than that they receive. Out of 1 million, 6 lakhs are not even being touched by the human agent. It is being handled by Freddy, right? Which means that we are saving equivalent agent cost, and giving a more prompt and a quicker solution to the user, right? And with the bots, they have automated 1500 decisions, so which means that they have catered to more than 1500 use cases, right? uh, and this they have done over a period of time, by training, retraining, looking at the data, looking at analytics, and still this number is growing, right? Other two example, one is again coming back to Super Daily, right? So Super Daily was doing 10% deflection before COVID. After COVID, their volume increased to 2.5x, but they didn't even add a single agent, right? And they used to get 17,000 tickets every day, out of which 90% were being handled by the agent. 90% is a huge being handled by Freddy agent, Freddy bot, right? 90% is a huge number, which means that out of 17,500, almost 15,000 were being handled by bot, right? Which is added. It's like adding agent to your team, adding a virtual agent to your team who can talk to multiple people at the same time, and without losing the personal touch, right? Coming to Vedantu is a online learning platform, and as we all know, how the learning platform or how the e-learning platforms have taken a boom, right? And similarly for Vedantu also, the number of visitors increased 3x, and uh, the deflection rate was 80% during COVID is what we saw, and it's still close to this. And why we took Vedantu example is we also saw an increase in satisfaction survey for these customers. There's 50% increase in CSAT, satisfaction score, right? And that we suspect and we are confident is because of the quicker responses, the accurate responses that bot give, which doesn't include the human errors. Bot will be less error prone. So that is the reason there's an increase in CSAT, right? Uh, Last example for today is how Unolo, uh, it's a on-demand staffing solution, right? They have increased their AHT by 20%, which means that the average handling time has reduced by 20% using the agent AI capabilities of the bot, right? And Freddy helped them with the 90% accuracy. So that's how bot has helped a few of our partners by even more than 90% or 80% of automation, of accuracy, and a lot more in average handling time reduction, or average first response time reduction, and the overall handling time as well, right? uh, yeah, that was it for the day. I would like to ask if there are any questions. Happy to answer.
Yes, there are. We do have questions. Guys, keep them coming. Once again, like I mentioned before, we love questions. Now, this one is from Wong Lee. Now, the question is, are chatbots secure mode for communication? Can we use chatbots for banking and finance companies?
Yeah, chatbots are secure and you can use for banking and finance companies. And as we saw some example where there are fintech companies or partners, if there is anything specific you want to ask about security, we can answer that as well. But yeah, we are under a secured ecosystem.
Okay, thank you for the question. Now, this next one is, how can chatbots give personalized experience to the website visitors or end users when people are already aware that it's a bot that is talking to them and not a human?
Yeah, that's a very great question. I'll answer this question into two parts, right? One, first I'll answer that how chatbots can give a personalized experience, right? If you have an app or if you have a website where user is logged in, bot will able to understand that it's a logged in user. Bot will able to fetch their details, whichever details you allow bot to. For example, their name, their age. Based on that, bot can do personalization. Bot can say that, hey, welcome Shubham, how can I help you? Or if there are products that you have on your service or on your website that customers have purchased, it can look at the past history saying that, hey, looks like you have purchased a phone 3 months back or 3 days back. Do you want assistance for that? So that's how the personalization will go, right? And coming to the second part of it, they are aware they're talking to the bot, but we have seen that customers are happy talking to bot because they know that bot is gonna help them quicker. That is one. Second is that it's okay to set the expectations, right? That, hey, I'm your personal assistant, or I'm your virtual assistant. Let me help you out with whatever I could. If I'm not able to help you, I'll hand over to my human colleague, like that. And we have seen great responses for that.
Of course, in relation to your question here, is there a possibility where end users here might just abuse that function a little bit, knowing that they're speaking to bots? They might just give default answers just so they could speak to a human assistant. That's quite possible, right?
Yeah, that is possible. But there are some I would say fallbacks that are that bot will be able to understand that, hey, I'm getting abused, and it will try responding like that also.
I love that. Okay, thank you. Our next question comes from Weng Li. Again, thank you so much for being one of our most active attendees today. That's awesome. So the question is, can bots be integrated with my existing chat tools? It supports multiple languages.
What is that chat tool? Can you please mention that? We'll have to check on that, which chat tool is it. Bot can integrate with your ticketing solutions, most of the ticketing solutions, if you already have, with the APIs, with the help of APIs. But most of the chat tools might not have APIs, so we'll have to see which chat tool is it. If you can share the details over the email, that which chat tool is it, we can maybe get on a call and understand what is it and what better we can do. And if it is about multilingual support, we can see what if there is anything we don't support. I think I missed this in my conversations. The bot we have is a multilingual bot, right? It can speak in or talk to the customers in all the languages, and also without building it multiple times. So you just build bot once and deploy in all the languages just by giving the translations. So yeah, would like to understand more on this, that which chat tool is it, and what problem you see if you go ahead with this bot and the Freshchat ecosystem that we have.
All right, well, Lisa, you know what to do. But you mentioned like multiple languages. Like there's not one language that it cannot speak at all. There's no restrictions.
So we support 41 languages, right? Which covers most of the languages in the world.
That's pretty fascinating. What a time we're living in, 41 languages. So that's very, very fascinating. Okay, so I'm just going to give our attendees just a little bit more time to just type in any more questions. If there are any, you guys, you know what to do. Click that Q&A button. It'll pop up. Once again, type in your question, hit send. We want to take as many questions and help as many of you as we can today. So for right now, Shubam and I are just going to have a quick chat while we wait for you guys to type in your questions. Shubam, are you working from home or in the office right now?
I'm working from home.
Right. And how has it been for you? Because I know some people, they prefer to work in the office and some people actually prefer to work at home. So where are you on that scale?
Earlier, I was on left side of the scale where I wanted to work from office. Now, so much comfortable working from home, like don't want to go to the office, but definitely missing my colleagues, hanging out with them. I'm missing sitting with the Balaji, discussing what more strategies we can build to sell more and yeah, do more.
So is there any word of when you can go back to the office yet?
We haven't heard it yet. It's open as of now, right? Like office is not open. It's open for us as of now to stay at home and work from here.
Right. Okay. And so like being at home, I'm sure you've had more time to yourself. So what are your plans for this weekend? Because I know it's Wednesday, but you know, we're just 2 days away from, you know, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what are your plans for this weekend?
It's Diwali here on Saturday.
Sorry?
Yeah, like it's Diwali. Diwali
yes.
festival, so we are excited about it. We'll be spending more time in shopping, going out, and then firecrackers and all.
All right, that's good to know. I completely forgot it's Diwali this week, and I cannot believe that I actually forgot. My apologies. Must be working a bit too much.
I think this is one of the most exciting weekends in last 6 months, if I'd say that.
But I'm pretty sure you must have some standard operating procedures of, you know, how many people you can have visiting your house. Are those allowed where you are right now?
Sorry, I didn't get the question right.
Oh, I said, you know, you must have some standard operating procedures of how many people can come and visit you during Diwali and all that. Are people allowed to come and visit you right now?
Yeah, people are allowed to come and visit right now. It's open now. Everything is open. Like earlier, there was like cross-state barriers. Now everything is open.
Okay, that's really good to know. Because I was talking to Bala earlier saying that here we were under a conditional movement control order, which means that we can't cross any districts right now. So it's slightly depressing on our end, but it's good to know that on your end, things are well. And I think that we have no questions for now. So I think with that, we can wrap things up for today. Shubam, thank you so much for being here with us today and making, you know, Digitally the success that it is. And of course, telling us more about Freddy AI. Thank you so much from all of us at Exabytes. And yeah, say goodbye, everyone. Thanks again, Shubam.
Thank you. Thanks, Lauren. Thanks, everyone.
All right. You have a great weekend now. Bye.
Yeah, same to you. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
exabytes. Grow your business online.